Good morning. It is the first time ever in my life that I'll be saying good morning to people in Albania. This is so exciting. Yeah. So, did someone say we're the best? I was wondering what someone said. Anyway, this is really exciting for me because I only got a call a couple days ago. We've been talking about this for a long time. I've heard about AllWeb, but more importantly, I've heard about you guys at AllWeb, and I was like, I gotta make it, but I'm on the middle of a tour, and they were like, you got to come, Dan. This crowd is amazing. You have to come. So I literally got on a flight last night, arrived at about 1 o'clock this morning. Ta-da! I'm here now with you guys. So really excited. Okay. I want to take you back to the age of 16. 16. That's how old I was when I stared death in the face. Literally in the face. Its eyes locked into mine. Every vein, every muscle poised for the attack. Teeth, lips quivering, drooling, considering its next meal. I was only 16 when I stared the king of the jungle, a mighty, ferocious lion in the heart of Zimbabwe. 16 years old, that's how old I was. And I know at 16 I was not ready to die. I was going to do whatever I could to survive. Now, what were my choices? I had no competitive advantage against this lion. There was no tree that I could climb faster than the lion. There was no water body that I could swim faster than the lion. There was no way I could run faster than the lion. And even though I am very impressive to look at today, 16-year-old DanRam could not have fought a lion if it came to it. No competitive advantage against this lion. But what I did have was an evolutionary advantage. The mind. Because I know, whether it's a small cat or a big lion, if you dangle something in front of it, it will pounce. And I knew that if I started running or doing anything, this lion would become predator and I would become prey. Not gonna happen. And so I did what does not make sense except for an evolutionary knowledge, which is to just stand. And that is how I confused this lion and survived to tell you the story. Today, I want to talk to you about evolutionary advantage. I want to shift your focus from a competitive advantage at this moment to an evolutionary advantage over time. What is it that you need to do as content creators, as marketing companies, or employees of corporates to survive a quickly changing landscape? If you're ready to learn, can I hear you say, Booyakasha? All right, so most of you are ready to learn. Booyakasha means nothing. I just wanted to see if you were listening or not. So, all right, so let's begin on what I want to say today, which is about having an evolutionary advantage. Before we go to that box, I want to explain why I was in Zimbabwe. The son of an Indian diplomat, every 2 to 3 years, we moved to a brand new country. New country, new food, new language, new culture, new people, new school, new friends, new activities, new everything. Change for me was not an option. It was my reality. And so I started to think, how do I keep staying on the trends? How do I keep positioning for change? That was my only option. Now, every time we moved, my mom brought out 3 boxes. There was the keep box, there was the discard box, and there was the discuss box. 3 boxes. And everything I owned had to go into one of those 3 boxes. Every 3 years, I had to look in my room, look at my toys, look at my clothes, look at my underwear, look at my everything and go, keep, discard, or discuss. Keep was obvious. Things that you love, things that matter, things of value. Discard was easy. Things you don't love, things that don't matter, things that don't have value. The difficult one was a discuss box. but the discuss box had the best revelations. Now, my mother had a lot of things that we thought belonged in the discard box, but she kept telling us belonged in the discuss box. So she collects things. She collects statues made of rocks. She collects plates painted from every country. She collects a lot of jewelry. And we keep going, Mom, why do you keep carrying all this stuff? What is it? And we realized it wasn't what she had, but why she had it that was important. Discuss is where the best conversation in your company exists. Because when you think about digital transformation, when you think about marketing, the conversation often becomes, should we have AR? Should we have AI? Should we have VR? Should we be doing social media? Should we be engaging influence? It's always about what. That is the wrong conversation. It should be about why. It's not what you does that matters, it's why you do it that matters. And so we would have this conversation every 3 years. Everything that we owned, everything we believed in, we would keep going, do we keep it? Do we discard it? Do we discuss it? And that is my first challenge for you guys as you think about how do you engage with the future? How do you engage with the present? Is get the conversation to why, not what. And I'll give you some examples. There we go. Point number 1, focus on why. So, Blockbuster. How many of you use Netflix? Show me your hand if you watch Netflix. Hey, welcome to the team. How many of you have purchased or rented a DVD, put in a DVD player, and watched a movie? Raise your hand. Oh, no, I mean last week. Oh, put your hand down. But anyone last week? No one? 0 people? Who owns a DVD player? Oh, a few of you. Nice. Okay. Maybe you should do this keep, discard, or discuss box and decide do you still want your DVD player or not. Blockbuster, they started focusing too much on what they do. See, Blockbuster had some of the most beautiful real estate in the US. Beautiful brick and mortar shops packed with all your favorite movies. They started thinking that their mission, that their vision, that their objective was what they did, which was selling, renting DVDs. But they should have focused on why they do it. See, if they thought about that, why should be something along the lines of bringing entertainment into the heart of the home. So when Netflix came about, Netflix went to Blockbuster and said, hey, do you want to buy us? And Blockbuster's like, no, you're not a shop. You are some online thing. But they started focusing on what they were doing, not why they were doing, and now they're gone. Or let's look at Kodak, right? Some of you work with cameras, and you would know that Kodak were the top of the game when it came to cameras. But they also started focusing on what they do. See, if they focused on why they do it, it would be about grabbing memories or sharing memories, your favorite memories. That's what photography and videography is about, right? Memories, experiences. But they started focusing on what they're doing, which is high-grade film or really high-quality cameras. Kodak actually had the patents to some of the earliest digital photography out there. Did they do anything with it? No, because they focused on what they were doing, not why they were doing. So my first thing that I want to say to you today is focus on Hey, you guys are good. Nice. So focus on why when it comes to the future, when it comes to digital transformation. Now, I've been talking for about 10 minutes, and I know a lot of you look at me and you're going, okay, blah, 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 but you're thinking in your head, where's this guy from? It's so confusing. He's got red trousers, he's wearing some odd thing that we've never seen before, he's talking with an American accent. I get this asked all the time. Yesterday I arrived at the airport, and the first person that met me was a taxi driver, and he literally shakes my hand. I go, hi, I'm Daniel. And he goes, oh, where are you from? It's a question I get asked all the time. So here, let's see how good you guys are. Where do you think I'm from? Wait, did someone say it? Did I say it? I did. You guys are paying attention. That's amazing. I'm not paying attention to what I'm saying. Yeah, so I'm from India, as in I have an Indian passport, but I was not born in India. I was actually born in United Arab Emirates in the Middle East. From there, I moved to Yemen, from Yemen to Algeria, from Algeria to France, from France back to UAE, from UAE then to India at the age of 11 and 12, then to Zimbabwe, which is where, some of these clickers have like a laser beam. but it doesn't have one, so it's okay. Zimbabwe at the southern tip, then to Morocco. From Morocco, I moved to the US where I went to college, then to Indonesia. I did a lot of traveling. And every country I went to, things changed, right? For example, my accent. So right at the beginning, one of the earliest countries I went to was France. And so I had a French-English accent. I'd be like, hello, my name is Danielle. That's how I would talk to people. I'd be like, Maman, pick me up. So that's how I would speak. Then I went to India, changed there. Hello, how are you? My accent changed there. Then I went to Zimbabwe and Morocco. The accent changed a little bit more to an African accent, and now I've got this weird mix of an accent. Things change. And it wasn't just accents, it was even instruments. At some point, if a piano shows up, come join me, and I'll show you how my music changed from country to country. We should have organized a keyboard up here. Next time. All right. Come to Macedonia for the next event. We'll get a keyboard up there. But even my music changed from place to place. And so, even I changed from place to place. That was me at some age. Don't know. Then I started getting a little bit more stylish with the striped. This is my favorite photo. Hey, hey. Hey, hey. So bow tie and glasses. Very clearly that my mom and dad dressed me. Then I thought, you know what, I'm going to dress myself. Lost the glasses, have some kind of weird mustache over there. And then I decided, you know what, I'm going to take things to a new level. And then this is what I turned out into. Blue mohawk DanRam. So hairstyles changed, outfits changed, everything changes as you go from one place to another. And that brings me to my second point. Let go of the past, engage with the present, position for the future. Imagine how this experience would be if I was still talking with a French accent. Would have been very different. If I was still wearing French clothes. If I only brought stories from France. But part of what makes this talk interesting is that it's from like all over the place. You don't know what I'm talking about being chased by lions in Zimbabwe. Then I'm talking about having an African accent. You're like, what is this guy? This is so confusing and interesting. And this is why I get hired. Because of this wealth of knowledge and experience, because I'm willing to let go of the past, engage with the present, position with the future. I want to give you an example from the digital marketing space. Donald Trump hates CNN, calls it fake news. I quite like CNN. Donald Trump and I are not best friends. He has tweeted angry things at me in the past. So one thing that I like about CNN is they're very good at television. And when they were looking at the presidential election in 2016, they had it was the second most broadcast show on CNN ever. 23 million people watched the presidential election on television. When you think CNN, you think television. But even CNN knows that it has to stay with the times. Remember, it's not about having a competitive advantage at this moment. Yes, CNN might be one of the top TV channels right now, but they want to stay on top for all time. And that's not about having a competitive advantage now, it's about having an evolutionary advantage over time. And so what CNN started doing is they've started engaging with lots and lots of different kinds of media out there. And you can see everything from mobile apps and their desktop to engaging with television, video platforms, Amazon Fire and Apple TV. They've got social messaging, everything from Kik and Twitter and Snapchat and Instagram, all the way to even new things like the Apple Watch, the Samsung Watch, Google Home, and others. CNN is doing all of this. Do they need to? No, but they want to. What happened? Aha! It's back. But they want to because they want to stay on top for all time. Now I want to show you a quick video, if that's possible right now, to show you what CNN did at the same time. Now they broadcast 23 million people, second most watched ever on CNN, and I want to show you what else they did and show you the remarkable move that happened because of that. And so I'm going to click, boom, aha, here we go.
I have a whole young person's agenda.
We're going to abolish the IRS.
Public colleges and universities tuition free.
Trade, we're going to make great trade deals.
So you can see here that CNN, besides what they did on television, they were on multiple social platforms. And one of their platforms, not even created by them, a page made by a fan, also showed what they showed, and it had over 100 million views. One Facebook page alone. 23 million on what they're known for, traditional television, 100 million on Facebook. This is the power of letting go of the past, engaging with the present, positioning for the future. Which brings me to my final point. And this is something I say to absolutely everywhere I go and to everyone I meet, and click. There we go. That's it. Final slide. Start now, start simple. See, I wanted to keep this intentionally broad because it's the opening keynote. I'm also aware that right in the front row we have experts in this space who will tell you about their own, whether it's e-commerce, whether it's social media, specific social media platforms, as workshops and things, and they will deep dive into it. My only desire for this opening keynote is engage, because there is so much potential out there. And you're thinking, I know, Dan, I know, but there's too much. A little bit overwhelmed with all the opportunity. And that's why it comes down to this. Start now, start simple. Literally today, in this chair, you have the potential to start and try something new. Yes, you might want to have the most trafficked website, or you might want to have the largest following online, but you're not going to get there unless you start now and you start simple. Everything I've done in my life has just followed this very, very simple philosophy. Start now, start simple. I hope I don't want to bore you, but if I can, I'd like to share just one or two examples of how that happened in my life. Just so you know it's possible, because I'm a normal human being. Before today, none of you even heard of me, and here I am today in front of you, and I just want to share that with you. So, one example is, I was living in a country called Ireland, which is where I met one of your panelists who's coming in this afternoon to speak. But I was sitting in Ireland. I have 2 good degrees. I went to Yale University in the US, got an economics degree. I went to Trinity College in Ireland, got an MBA. And you think, Dan, son of an Indian diplomat, very good looking, it's important, 2 degrees under his belt, surely everyone wants to hire him. Not true. For 2 years, I applied and applied and applied and applied for jobs, and I could get nothing. I've applied for maybe hundreds of jobs, and I still could get nothing. But what I did have was the power to start now and start simple. And so began this incredible journey with one phone call. A friend of mine said, "Hey, Dan, do you know how you're doing nothing with your life?" And I go, yeah, I know. Thank you. And she said, "How about you come and speak to my students?" And I was thinking, yes, I am a college lecturer. And she goes, "No, to some 12-year-old girls." And I was like, okay, I can do that too. I am doing nothing. And then she said, "They've been working on a business idea for about 24 hours, and we need a fake investor to come and grill them." And I said, yes, I will do that, no problem. I'd never been an investor before, never set up a business before, so I went and watched Shark Tank, Dragon's Den, and I Googled, what do investors ask? And I went in, and I was the best fake investor those girls had ever seen. And that evening, I got an angry phone call from a dad. And he goes, "Dan, don't know who you are, never heard of you, but my daughter came to the house, and now she wants to be an entrepreneur because of you. So whatever you said to her, can you come and inspire my staff?" And I'm thinking to myself, I need the inspiration. I am the unemployed one. They have the job. But I said, okay, yes. Never given a motivational talk, and so I went and Googled motivational talks for people with jobs. And I went in, and I was the best motivational speaker that I could be on that night. And a few days later, the PR company called me and said, "Dan, you're such a good communicator. You must be an expert in this." And I was thinking, yes. Once as a fake investor, second time as a fake motivational speaker, yes, I can do the speaking thing. And so she said, "Can you write down your top 5 tips?" And I said, okay. Then I Googled top 5 things. And I went in and I wrote down my top 5 tips. And after writing it, it got picked up by a real dragon from the real Dragon's Den. And he called me and he says, "Dan, I don't know who you are, but there's a lot of positivity and excitement, and Ireland is going through a recession. That's why I didn't have a job, is because 2010, there was in a recession." And I said, can you come and advise the Irish national government on entrepreneurship policy? And I said, yes. Then I Googled how to advise the national government of Ireland. And for 6 months I went in and I worked really hard at it. Like, I know there's a funny side to it, but I also worked really hard at these opportunities. And we put out the national policy on entrepreneurship. But it all started by taking a phone call from a friend and saying yes to a bunch of 12-year-old girls who needed a fake investor to ask them questions to the national government. You saw the show reel of, and it was also mentioned, I was with Nico Rosberg last week, the F1 world champ, shared the stage with, and some of you guys will know people like Casey Neistat and Jake Paul and Gary Vaynerchuk. I'm a nobody. You know these guys. The only reason I get to hang out with digital marketers like them or famous business people like Richard Branson and the founders of Airbnb and Adidas and all these big billionaire companies and billionaire people is simply because of this philosophy of start now, start simple. My own entrepreneurship, and I know some of you are thinking, I want to start something, I want to build my own business. It is as simple as start now, start simple. My entrepreneurship story began with my love for ice cream. Right? And I'm going to tell you from ice cream to becoming an investor how it happened. So every Monday night I have this plan where I put on my hoodie because I don't want anyone to see my addiction. And I walk into Tesco, I go to the ice cream aisle, I get my ice cream, and I come back home and I eat it. One day when I was walking with my hoodie over, I was just walking and in the shop I saw a choir singing. And so I pulled out my headphones and I was just watching the choir. Then I was doing a little bit of the shake because it was nice music. Choirs are great. Then I was doing the one-step. Do you guys know the one-step? So I was just doing the one-step dance with them. And then I started singing with them. And then I went back home and I was so happy until I realized I forgot the ice cream. So then I got ice cream. And then I thought to myself, how strange that a choir can take a commercial shopping space and turn it into an experience. This is a new idea for me. And in India, we don't have this. You go to shops to buy things. You don't go to shops to experience things. So I thought to myself, I want to create a Christmas festival. In India, Christmas is only celebrated mostly by Christians in church and around the dining table. And I thought to myself, it'd be nice to do something public. And so it was a simple plan. 100 people, free pizza, and I would do some singing, and my co-founder would do a motivational talk. Simple plan. Start now, start simple. Now, what I didn't tell you was I was living in Ireland. This plan was for India. Also, I was a full-time MBA student. All I had was my evenings. And as a college student, for anyone who's been to college, you know that we are poor. And so I only had 900 euros saved, which is a lot for most college students. But I had 900 euros saved, and that was to cover my cost to go there and free pizza. But 3 months is all I had to prep for this. And anyone asked me, Dan, what are you doing this Christmas? I'm like, I'm throwing a party in India. And they would go, India, I want to come. Or party, I want to come. One of those two things, I'd be like, I want to be part of it. And so we started involving people. And in 3 months, we went from one act, me, to 300 acts, including the winners of India's Got Talent that debuted their single at our event. We went from a one-day event to a 6-day event. We went from a one-room event to an entire shopping center. We had multiple stages. And the first night, we had about 4,000 people. Don't worry, I canceled the pizza. Cannot feed 4,000 people. And we started growing and growing and growing. And finally, over those 6 days, we had over 300,000 people that came to the event. Not because I'm a big event organizer, not because I had a lot of money, but simply because of start now, start simple. And this is what I love doing with companies even today, is scaling businesses, scaling things, whether it's online or offline, because that magic touch happened simply because of an ice cream addiction, an idea that kicked in when I went to the shopping center. Everything that you learn today can be applied today. This is my challenge to you from this stage. For everyone here, please don't be here just to watch. Engage, learn, and do something about it today. Your moment is now. And it can be something really simple. It could be starting your Instagram account for the first time. It could be you writing to your boss and saying, guys, we need to have a conversation first thing tomorrow morning because I learned something today that we need to put into our business. So this is your opportunity. Start now, start simple. My name is DanRam. I'm so thankful for this opportunity. Thank you very much.